What's your name? Where are you from? And what's your question?
I'm Kevin from Chicago.
Kevin, local.
My question, Joey, is do you ever, because you talked about your conversation with Jim Duggan, and I got to do something stupid to get over. Do you ever feel like the dick spot is a burden and something that you wish you could get away from?
No, I mean overall no, because it's been, like I said, very lucrative for me, and it's helped me buy a house, and it's done a lot of things for me. But at times, like I do, like I'll never probably never have a technical wrestling match again. And I used to really enjoy doing those. I used to, enjoy wrestling guys, like the Zack Sabre Juniors of the world, or the Kyle O'Reillys, where we'd be working body parts the whole time. Now, obviously a different body part for me, but. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I miss those kind of wrestling matches because I will likely never have one of those again.
Who's next? Find Josh, please.
All right. Name and where are you from?
I'm Yuri from Brooklyn, New York.
Good.
How's it going? So most of my friends, they don't care about wrestling. Could care less.
It's because you haven't shown them me yet.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So when you came to my city and I took 5 guys to Joey Ryan's penis party.
Right.
What
a sell. Hey, I know you guys don't like wrestling, but come to this penis party with me.
Yeah, come to this penis party. I mean, it was like a joke for weeks, and then after, we sat through it, and it was like, that was the most fun they had in months. Then they're still asking me about it. So the point is that you have some sort of mainstream appeal that guys who would never watch wrestling otherwise want to watch. I mean, they're still texting me. I sort of sent them a picture, I'm like, oh my God,
yeah,
that's Joey Ryan. And they couldn't find Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, don't know who those guys are. Is that something you aim for? Is that something you hope to establish?
It's funny, the most I've gotten told about, at least the original viral clip, is that, either whether it be fans or other wrestlers, they would say, hey, my cousins or my friends, they know I watch wrestling, or they know I'm into wrestling, or they know I'm a wrestler, and they sent me your clip, and they're like, oh, have you seen this? And they all so that was the most play I think the clip got, was people who aren't wrestling fans sending it to their friends who are wrestling fans. So I from that I knew there was some at least mainstream attention, which is kind of cool because. The big negative on it is like, oh, you can't do this on TV. It won't reach a mainstream audience. But I mean, maybe small sample size, but I feel like there is at least, intrigue from a mainstream audience.
Actually, that's a good point. I think it has reached the mainstream audience, maybe 1 or 2 viewers at a time. It just can't get on TV. Who else we got?
Another question here. What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Kyle from Newcastle, Indiana. My question is, one of my favorite matches I've seen recently of yours is when you faced Tessa Blanchard. What's your opinion on intergender wrestling in general, and do you wish that it would be more prominent and more mainstream?
I'm really happy with what Impact Wrestling has been doing with intergender wrestling, and Tessa especially. And I think she's a great wrestler to carry that flag.
Good call. Go ahead.
I've done a lot of intergender wrestling. Obviously, my character plays well to having these intergender matches. And, during, I guess I was well established as me and Candice LeRae as a tag team, as an intergender tag team, before, the dick stuff went viral. She loves doing that stuff. And it's what I learned from teaming with her is that, it's just a different story to tell. I teamed with her a lot, and you can't do these intergender matches, and she would, if we were wrestling, when at PWG, if we wrestled Kevin Owens and Adam Cole, she wouldn't go toe to toe with Kevin Owens. They wouldn't do a punch trade off, because that's not believable. But she could avoid his punches and give him some strikes, So it's just telling the story that's. The audience is there, and they're willing to suspend their disbelief, but you can't spit in their face and you can't insult them with it. You have to make it make sense in the context of what you're doing. So I think intergender wrestling can play, and I think it creates I've been at merchandise tables, and I've been at at shows where women and girls come up to Candice of all ages, and they're in tears because she inspired them, not just to physically fight, which is wrestling transcends just physicality, but like other things, aspects in their life. One girl, said that watching Candace stand up for herself in front with all these dudes helped her overcome her anorexia, which is crazy to think about, And so I feel like it creates heroes for little girls or even women. The intergender wrestling does, and as long as we're not, insulting our audience's intelligence with it, I think it can play on any level, and I hope to see Impact Wrestling continue with it.
All right. This next question comes from a gentleman named Moose.
Joey, first off, I loved your stuff in Lucha Underground. I got to meet you then, and you were amazing. But one of the things that I really loved was bar wrestling. And when are we going to see bar wrestling across the country? And how does it feel to be on the other side, not being just a performer, but also running the show, doing everything? Because it was amazing, and I just want to see more of it.
Well, I don't think it's going to become a touring brand. So I think you're going to have to come to LA if you want to see it. It's been different because, I don't know how many people know this, but I was one of the 6 guys who started Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. But being 6 people running that, there's a lot of, ideas that get tossed or, so like bar wrestling was something that I wanted to create and use my own ideas and not really have to bounce them off other people and just see if it would float. And the response has been great. I really enjoy doing the shows and, the venues I've got. And this is a testament to indie wrestling's popularity right now, is like I can run Wednesday nights at a bar wrestling, which doesn't interfere with my schedule. So I don't have to turn down a booking to work for myself. And the shows sell out on Wednesdays, which is crazy, It's a different world. It's a completely, to be on the promoter side of it. And I generally try to only book, my friends and people people that aren't going to yell at me if something doesn't go right. I had Scott Steiner out recently because I enjoyed working with him so much, and because of how adamant he was about, getting me over. I was like, well, I definitely think my audience would enjoy seeing him. So, I brought Scott out for a show, and it's just kind of cool to bring, like Scott Steiner might not, there's not a lot of promotions in Southern California that not only probably couldn't afford Scott, but cater to what is I don't see Scott. Not that he couldn't do well at a PWG show, but he's also in his 50s, and PWG is, more of a high spotty kind of promotion. So I don't see a lot of places in LA bringing Scott Steiner out, but it's cool that I can give him a place. And that's what I've kind of done with bar wrestling, is made it a place where maybe the independent wrestlers that are coming up that don't really have the notoriety yet can wrestle, or the legends that don't really have a place in the super indie world can come, and it's more of a laid back, fun show. And I mean, it's been great so far, and we're doing 2 a month now, which is cool, and not at all hectic. Trust me, just kidding. And I enjoy giving other people work. My friends that are in LA, they get an extra place to work, and and they're appreciative of that, and I'm glad I can help them out.
All right, we have George from Boston. George, what's your question?
I got to see the documentary at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was fantastic. And I know it was an almost finished version about a month and a half ago. So first question is, how's it coming along? And the second question, you kind of talk about how out of the ring, you're more quiet, you're more reserved. And I was just kind of curious if the character, that outgoing aspect, has bled in to real life, or do you kind of keep it compartmentalized?
Well, first of all, the documentary is still on the festival circuit. I think its next festival is in Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee. Oh, they're going to kill me now. Hi, James and Katie. I promise I pay attention to the things you tell me. So the documentary is going well. It's winning awards and getting acclaim on the festival circuit, which hopefully is going to help them sell it to a streaming service, which is the goal. Which would be nice and obviously great exposure for me. I am a little bit more shy and introverted in person than I am in the ring. but and I don't want to, and I just talked about this with the Young Bucks on their new room service show, is that a lot of times, because I want to be approachable and I want fans to have a good experience, and sometimes fans drive, like I hear, like, oh, I drove 4 hours to see you because this is the closest you've ever been to my hometown. So I don't want to be like shut off or unapproachable to those fans. So in a sense, being at the merchandise table is also another character I have to get into. And I have to worry about it coming off fake, because it's not the true version of me. But I also don't want, like, if a fan comes up to me and they've been waiting however long to see me, or drove however long, to see me. I don't want them to have a bad experience, and I know that they're nervous and they might have a question they want to ask me or something to say. They want a memorable experience, so I try to be open for that without seeming like I'm blowing them off, And it's just, but it's not in my natural personality to be outgoing, but And so in a sense, at the merch table, I have to kind of cross into that character just so that way I'm not like rubbing fans the wrong way.
All right, we have Mike from Kentucky here. Mike, what's your question?
Obviously, the whole dick shtick has been working for 4 years, and it seems like now maybe the next big thing is Orange Cassidy. So are you having a lot of young guys approach you, maybe bounce off ideas, maybe looking for something that may get them over for what's gone well for you?
I think the people see the success I've had, and the merchandising opportunities that characters get or have, because like a lot of my income is supplemented by my merchandise sales, and that's just honest. Like I do great numbers, like especially at Pro Wrestling Tees, which has been a life changer for me. But that comes from being a colorful character, and I think that's the thing that people are seeing now, is that the colorful characters, reach an audience that not only wants to see them perform but wants to buy their merchandise. And so maybe I've helped along the way there, or maybe I've been an example. But there's a ton of great ideas out there and creative ideas, and I've seen some ideas that are good ideas, but the execution's bad. So sometimes if I get asked, sometimes I'll try to help people with their execution of ideas they have as far as character work goes. But I think we're just seeing the beginning now of these different kind of characters, these colorful characters, really rising to the top of the industry.
All right, we have another one right up here in the front. What's your name? Where are you from?
Brian from Woodstock, Illinois. I was just wondering, what's your favorite PWG story, and then how do you feel about them not being able to run shows in the regular arena that they have all those years, and how does that affect the overall show?
The home for a long time was Reseda. In fact, that's kind of why Lucha Underground billed me from Reseda, California, is because that's where PWG ran the majority of its shows. I think it was kind of overdue for them to get into a bigger place, because that place would be packed, and they would just raise the prices of tickets but they would always, the supply and demand was there, so it would keep going. But I think I think this is going to help long term the growth of the promotion. I'm not on the office side of that promotion anymore. I left to do my own thing with bar wrestling, but just from what I've seen, I think this is helping their attendance at least. They're not having to turn audience away, which is great for them, and I think it's just going to help their growth. But my favorite story from PWG, there's so many over the years. I don't know. I mentioned teaming with Candice LeRae. We had a match with the Young Bucks, a guerrilla warfare match. That is probably my favorite match I've ever had, and that was, and what was cool about that one is that, so PWG tends to run long shows, and that was the main event because it was a hardcore match. The main event for the tag titles, so it was the main event of a show, the 11-year anniversary show. And the singles championship, the heavyweight championship match, was the semi-main, and it was Chris Hero against Kyle O'Reilly. And I think they were supposed to go 15 minutes, but they went like 52 minutes or something. So so it was like nearing midnight before we were even going to come out, and Matt Jackson, literally minutes before we go out, says, let's just do a stunt show. Let's just do a car crash. Let's just everything, and then sell after rather than big sells in between. And I think that really helped the pacing of the match, and I really think that's why it's been so popular on the internet. You know, it's on YouTube. I think that's why it's gotten so many views and why so many people connect with it. And there's a T-shirt right there in the front row based on just that match. So, and I think that's probably my favorite story because it was so organic. It wasn't something that was planned. It wasn't something like, I mean, we had the match and the spots planned, but the fact that we just were like, this audience is tired. They just watched a near hour-long match. So let's just like give them everything, and then sell after. Which again, I think helped that match find its audience.
All right, we have Jake from Nexus. What's your question?
Oh, what's up, Joey? I got to be honest, I wasn't really introduced to you until like 2.5 years ago. You came and did a show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin called Water City WrestleCon. I've been a big fan since then, so I'm not really familiar with a ton of your older work. Kind of was just wondering what's like the craziest spot you've ever done or the biggest bump you've ever taken?
I mean, I'm old now, so I'm trying to think of some of the hardcore matches I've had or the cage matches. I did a superplex with Cody Rhodes off the top of a cage once, which was pretty scary because there wasn't much footing on the top of the cage, and I thought I was going to fall backwards and possibly die. But he kept me steady, which was nice. I've done, I guess, yeah, I mean, any of the weapons. I mean, you know, early in my career, you know, the unprotected chair shots and the, falling off things into things, those are all probably, when you look back on, probably not very smart or not very, or big or epic. But luckily with this character and the opportunities I've had to be more colorful, I've been able to avoid having to do very many weapons and use a lot of gimmicks for the matches. So I think my more recent work is a little bit more conducive to me lasting longer in wrestling.
All right, we have Mike from DC here. Mike, what's your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, you mentioned working with Scott Steiner before. Is there anyone out there you haven't been with, like a dream opponent, that could come in and do the dick flip bump with you?
Active or inactive? Active. I mean, that would, yeah. Well, I mean, what's funny is a side story to that is like everyone, always asks me like, oh, what's your dream match? And that's always like The Rock, because it's gonna draw the most money for me. Like, who do I care what the the way that's gonna sell the most tickets and that's gonna help me financially. But I mean, I guess The Rock would be kind of cool, but
it'd take a bump for the dick too. I've never been more sure of anything.
Yeah.
Am I right? The Rock plays ball.
Right. Figuratively, literally.
Well, right.
It's always great when like the people you don't expect take it, like the Scott Steiner, or sell for it, like this, and when I was, considering what I am today, it's gonna sound weird for me to say this, but when I was getting into wrestling, the people I studied the most were Brad Armstrong and Jamie Noble and Lance Storm, because I fancied myself as more of a technical guy at the time,
and all just terrific,
right?
Just terrific,
right, and great performers in the ring and great technical wrestlers, and I know Lance still does some work every now and then, so and he's somebody that nobody would expect do it. Would he do it? Who knows? But it'd be interesting to get booked.
All right, we have Matt from Valparaiso here. What's your question?
Hey, thanks for the lollipop at Black Label Pro. That's the first time a crowd called me a sick fuck, by the way. So, out of all the gimmicks that you could ever have, what would be your dream gimmick besides the dick flip and what you're doing now?
Dream gimmick, huh? I guess. I mean, I guess the dream gimmick would just be like a fat guy, so I wouldn't have to diet anymore.
I'm living your gimmick.
Right. I mean, I do enjoy myself some fast food, which I can't enjoy as much as I would if I didn't have to at least try to look like an athlete. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess before the dick stuff, like I said, I've been the 80s character for a while, and I think just being able to try to act like the wrestlers that I liked growing up has been cool. And like I said, I changed the way I threw punches, I changed the way I did moves, I tried to emulate different 80s wrestlers into aspects. So I think becoming an 80s wrestler was kind of my dream gimmick coming true.
All right, our last question here. We have Zane from Charlotte, North Carolina. Zane, what is your question?
You talked about how you were able to dick flip all these girls, and we've seen you do it to all these like smaller indie guys. Do you think that you could actually dick flip like a real man? Because Scott Steiner, he wouldn't do it, so it makes me think that you couldn't do it. And I guess what I'm asking is, can I touch it?
Have you signed a waiver, sir?
This is fake, right?
Sure. Come on up. Come up. You're more than welcome.
Yeah!
Careful. Hold on. Touch my dick.
Joey, what did you do?
I think I killed a guy. I think I've killed this man I've never met before.
If he's dead, that's going to cast the real Paul over the rest of Starrcast. I don't mind telling you.
We have some. There it is. We have some blow pops?
I literally don't know what to do. Oh. You were some sick fucks.
Well, I think maybe we have some blow pops for everyone. At least that's what I was told. I don't see them anywhere here, so I could be a liar. Somebody's got to be watching in the back, right? Someone want to bring these? He's got them in the back. All right, there you go.
Hey, blow pops!
I
blow
am
pops!
not a liar. I am not a liar. And now it's just awkward while we wait.
Joey, this guy hasn't moved at all.
Was that? Oh, yeah. What do they? We got to put the. There we are. All right, who wants a blow pop? You guys can go hand them out. Oh. Oh, right. Sorry. I have the druids here, so let's resurrect Zane here. Listen, now that is performance art. Here, you have a blow pop.
It's an erect penis miracle.
Go ahead. Get some blow pops.
Everybody, thank you. Joey Ryan. Let's hear it for Joey.
I got some Blue Chew shirts.